All right, a couple things real quick. I dropped a dumbbell on my face this morning, so my nose is red. It's not a tan. No, I'm just old. And I was in the gym. You know, for any of you all, I know you're all young, but you ever like get older and then you want to do the stuff you were doing when you were younger? Yep. And there was this guy next to me, and he was like huffing and puffing. But I convinced myself he was on steroids. So that's why he was stronger than me, because that's the only reason to be stronger than me. He's on steroids. So I was like, I felt good about myself. He was making noises. So, and they were like 100-pound dumbbells. I'm like, well, if he can make noises and grab 100, so can I. I mean, I'm strong, right? And after like 3, I took one on the nose, you know, went down. But I acted like it didn't happen. You know, I just kind of got up like I meant to do it, and I stretched back out, and I went to work. So, and I have this weird thing on me, whatever this is. They call it what is it called? The cat's what?
Lavalier. Oh, you dropped it. Dead cat somewhere around.
Is it gone?
Yeah, it's okay. We're good.
Are you sure? Good, because I really didn't want to wear it. It was fur on here. Well, here's what I'm going to do. How many people do not have an insurance license? Okay. So, what do you do for a living now, sir?
I work for AT&T.
AT&T. Sales?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I got my license about 10 years ago. All right, 10, 11 years ago. I was working at the state of Connecticut Department of Children and Families as a social worker. Okay, and I also worked at a real estate agent. At a real young age, somebody asked me, like, what did you want to do when you got older? I'm like, I just didn't want to be broke. I didn't want to get rich. It's not that I have a problem with getting rich. I just, when you're raised with no money, most people don't, I just wasn't trying to get rich. I was trying to get by. My mom worked 3 jobs. My mom worked really hard. She worked at a hospital plant. She used to wear like a thing around her hair. She'd go to work in the morning before I got up for school. Then I wouldn't see her when I got home from school. She went to her second job as a bartender, and then at night she cleaned houses after she got out. So my mom worked 3 jobs. She probably slept 3, 4 hours a night, and she did that the entire time I remember being raised. She was raised. She unfortunately had she had to do it all on her own. Right? It's just the way it worked. And my mom, I played football, basketball, and baseball in high school. My mom didn't go to one game, not because my mom doesn't love me. My mom was working. You know, that's what she was doing. So as a kid, I always just wanted to do better. You know, it's not that I knew what I wanted to do. I just wanted to find, and I wanted to take care of my mom. It wasn't that deep. You know, my brother, he's 2 years younger than me, so we fought a lot. My job was to beat him up and raise him up to be a man. That didn't work out so good, but I did the best I could, you know. And I went to high school, you know, played ball, went to college, only because I wanted to play ball. I wanted to join the Marines. My mom wouldn't let me do that. She said, you have to go to college first, and then you can join the military after. So I went to college to play baseball. I thought I'd play professional baseball until I went to college. And I saw the guys and what they looked like, the ones that were going to play professional baseball, and they weren't me. You know, I was like, no, because I played third. And there was this kid from Canada, and he was like, what position you play? And I said, third. And he's like, not in this team you don't. I'm like, dude, you have no chance to play third. And he took bat and press, and he hit like 27 balls over the fence out of 30 swings. And I was like, I can play right, I can play left, because I am playing third. Like, I get that. I know you got it. It's all yours. And you know, and I worked real hard. I actually stopped playing baseball for a couple of years. I knew I wasn't going to make any money doing that. And I had a coach that gave me really good business, really good life advice. He said to me, son, what do you plan on doing when you get older? And I said, I plan on continuing to play this game. He said, the best thing you can do is get yourself a degree and find a way to make money. This game's never going to make any money. It doesn't make most people money. It doesn't, very rarely do people make money doing it. So you should go ahead and get a degree. So I was a business major for a short period of time, but I didn't like that because my professors weren't in business. Seemed pretty hypocritical, right? And I asked questions like, sir, what's your business experience? And that was all, they just, the ones I met didn't have any experience. They just went to school. So I became a social work major because the people that were teaching were in the field. So that intrigued me. I got done with college. The first job I got was at the police department. That lasted 4 months and 2 weeks. I wasn't good for them. They weren't good for me. I thought it was going to be something that it wasn't. I did it more because my buddy took the exam. And I'm like, they're never going to hire me because they ask you all kinds of questions like, do you like to use drugs? And I was like, yes, a lot of them. You know what I mean? Like, you know, how many times you smoke marijuana? I'm like, a lot. I don't know. When's the last time? I'm like, not that long ago. I mean, I was 21 years old, bro. Like, what do you want me to tell you? You know, I also had a lot of problems. I mean, I've been sober for 19 years because I needed to get sober. I got no business drinking and doing that stuff because I'm not in control. But I took that job for a short period of time, realized I didn't really enjoy it. I didn't want to sit around all day long. And for me, it was either like I was bored or people were like going crazy. And either way, I just didn't want to be involved. So I became a social worker. I worked with abused and neglected children. Anybody ever worked with, you know, abused and neglected children? So I worked with the state of Connecticut, and that's what I did. I responded when kids were raped. I responded when kids were murdered. I responded when domestic violence occurred. I responded in high, what they call, I can't remember, it was high something something case. So it was a very intensive investigation deal. I did that for about 10 years. I loved it. I worked probably 100 hours a week to make money. So I'd never been in sales. Then I decided to get a real estate license while I was a social worker. I loved real estate, but I didn't like waiting to get paid. Any of you do real estate? I started to not enjoy it. So I started doing stuff like, all right, y'all want to see a house? And you'd be like, yeah, we're going to buy one. I'm like, okay, you can see 3 with me, and that's it. Pick your 3 carefully, because we're not doing 4, 10, 27 every weekend. We're not friends. 3 houses. And I realized this is not, but you know what I found? Some people kind of like that, and some didn't, you know? But you never know if they're qualified. I'm not going to sit and do an open house, so I did it. Dude, I mean, if you know, I did it for 10 years. I'd make a sale, and it was great, and then I'd go 4 months without making a sale. And then I'd go to one real estate company. By the time I was done with my paycheck, they kept everything. Marketing fees. It was funny, because my commission was really never my commission. They said I would get a certain amount, but they'd keep a lot. So in 2008, I was buying a rental property, and a guy said to me, you should get into life insurance sales. I knew nothing about life insurance. My mom didn't have life insurance. When my uncles died, they didn't have life insurance. I know it because I was there. Like, I knew we were paying for funeral. We were trying to raise money for the funeral. We did these fundraisers. My grandparents didn't have life insurance. So when anybody in my family died, we didn't have one. So for me, life insurance was very enigmatic. I didn't understand what it was. So the guy said to me, all you have to do is call these leads. And in real estate, I never had leads. Like, real estate leads were internet leads where somebody would click on like home invasion, it would become a lead. Or house cleaning. You'd call them and be like, hey, you want to buy a house? They'd be like, no, I live in my mom's basement. I don't buy a house. I don't even have a job. And I'd be like, but you're on the internet. They're like, yeah, I was looking stuff up. I don't want a house. And I would pay $150 for that in real estate. I mean, that was our lead source. And they would go, you should call your sphere of influence. I'm like, who am I going to sell a house to? My family doesn't want to buy a house. They can't afford to buy a house. I don't know anybody. I was young, so I really needed to find a way to generate leads, and it was very difficult. So he handed me a lead. We do only lead-based sales. We don't do any cold calling. We don't do any cold knocking. If you come to my house without permission, I will be angry. If I come to your house without permission, you should be angry. I will rip the door open like you did something wrong because I didn't invite you. Does that make sense? Just like y'all probably would. I come knocking on your house at 9 o'clock at night, it's going to be a problem because you didn't invite me. When I saw the leads, I called some of them and realized, and he didn't actually sell them, he just handed me the leads, and he's like, do you need to know what to say? I'm like, dude, why would I need to know what to say? They filled this thing out, right? And he said, yeah, so I'm going to call them up, tell them to come over to the house. So he handed me a lead. I had no insurance license. I called the person up. They answered. Never been trained. I said, hey, how you doing? I said, whatever the guy's name was. I said his first name. I said, this is Shaun. I'm with the Mortgage Protection Center. You fill out this form. I didn't come to give me the information. You'll be home tomorrow at 6. And the guy was like, yeah, I get home from work about 6. I said, I'll make it 6:30. And he's like, how long will it take? I said, it won't take very long. If you keep asking questions, it'll take longer. See you tomorrow at 6:30. The guy was like, okay, because he filled out the form. So he goes, how do you know how to do that? I'm like, I don't know. How do you know how to stop when the light's red? Because cars are coming. Like, what do you mean? How do I called the guy, filled it out. This isn't that hard. And then I said, I'm going to go out tomorrow. How do I get paid? He's like, dude, you don't even have a license yet. And I was like, I need a license to sell them? He's like, yeah, you need an insurance license. I was like, all right. So I went online, got my license. It took me 4 days. State of Connecticut doesn't take very long. And I worked with that guy and with that company for 5 years. The problem for me was I worked 1 year part-time. I was making 60, 70, 80, 90 grand a year. Not so bad, okay? But I was working real hard. And then at the state, they changed things a lot at the state of Connecticut. So the way that works is like, that's how government is. Whoever's in charge, I trust nobody, just so you know, that's in charge of the government. I ain't met anybody I trust. I don't like them. I trust me and you more than I trust them. I just do. That's just the way I'm built. So they would change rules and I didn't like it. So I decided to leave my state job, leave my real estate deal, and go insurance full time. So I did that for about 4 years. And after looking at how hard I was working, how much money I was making, or more importantly, how much I wasn't making, I quit. I hated the concept. What I didn't like was this idea that the company kept most of the money. And then I was down here. My commission was very low, 55, 60, 70%, very low. They kept all my renewals, and I paid a lot of fees. Yeah, no, that's how I looked. But I didn't know what renewals were when I started, right? So I just kind of got in the business and was excited to be doing something. So December 12th of 2013, we launched Family First Life. We launched Family First Life under a few very basic concepts. Number one, the agent going to eat. The agent's going to get paid. You do the majority of the work, you get the majority of the money. We're going to launch a company where a little bit of a lot will add up, will be fine, but you should make the majority of the money. So the very first thing we did, we set up very high compensation. So in our simplified issue business, mortgage final expense, 140 was the top compensation we set up. There was nobody that we were aware of at that time that was above 110. So people said to me, why didn't you just make it like 115 or 120? Because that's higher than 110. I was like, well, we took the number and decided what can we live on as a company. We don't need to make all this money. Matter of fact, we thought that was greedy. And if you're greedy, you could go to hell. I'm not saying you will. I'm just saying I don't want to find out. You know what I mean? It seems like a contributing factor. So I was like, I don't want to do that because that book's very serious and it's very, the repercussions are serious. So we went to 140. So our compensation was very high. The second thing was renewals. Not only did we say we're going to go ahead and pass the renewals on to the agent, you're going to be vested day one. Now, what vesting means is a lot of companies will say, we'll give you your renewals, but you must work with us for X period of time. And if you don't for 7 years and 6 years and 10 months, you're out. We keep all your renewals. That also seemed like one-way ticket to hell. So we don't do that, okay? And we vest you day one. So the day you start, you hit a year, that stuff starts renewing, you get your renewals. It's that simple. The next thought when you talk about renewals is what happens if you ever don't work with the company anymore? So you wake up one day and go, you know what? My dream job, Jordan's better because this could happen. My dream job is to be an artist in the southern tip of Spain. He just all of a sudden decided, it's an epiphany, which could happen tomorrow if you know him. Like he just could be gone. He could be in Vietnam, he could be anywhere, you never know. And Jordan goes, it's my calling. I go, well, dude, you keep all your renewals. Because just because you go and don't sell life insurance anymore doesn't mean we take them from you. They remain with you, which they should. The next thing for us was leads. You needed to find a way to get good quality leads and we'd stay out of the way. And what I mean by that is what a lot of companies do is they say, all right, we're going to find all these lead companies and they're going to siphon them through us. And then we're going to charge extra and then even more and then even more and then we're going to pass it to you. It's like, but these people created them. Why can't you just buy them from them directly? Why do you have to go through all these different areas where it costs you more money? So we basically said, you're independent. We're going to vet lead sources. We're going to talk to all of them we can. We're going to find out who's got the best options, and then we're going to hand them to you. And you're going to figure it out, okay? Direct mail is what we're doing now. We do a lot of Facebook leads. Facebook's in charge of all the data in the world. Hopefully they never get mad at us because they control all of us and our thoughts and what we do, and they know where we're going and what we're eating and what we like and what we don't like. They know when we go to the bathroom. They know everything about all of us. The leads are great and they're very affordable. So we have a very good lead system. And we also never want to charge lead override. So for those of you that have been in the business before, what a lot of companies will do is say, all right, if I hired you, sir, and you hired Brittany, and Brittany buy leads, they'd want you to pay some and me. But I'm like, but she bought the leads. Why do you and I got to pay? And what if she doesn't sell nothing? Now we invested money and she don't sell nothing. And the company goes, well, that's just the way it works. That's the response for a lot of these people. It's just the way it works. Like with this compensation, this was very difficult for us to do, which sounds weird. Not for us. We could do it. We knew we'd be able to make the money we need to make survive. The insurance carriers wouldn't allow us to pay high comp, which is weird, right? Because it's my money. Like, it's really my money, right? Family First Life's money comes in. I have the right to disseminate anywhere I want, right? That should be the case. How can you tell them what to do with my money? And what their issue was is all the other people out there, they were all agreed on this one top comp. So the other 7, 8, 9, 10 big distributors kind of blockbusted the thing and said, this is what we're going to do. And then I was like, no, we're going to do this. And they would complain, he can't do that. I'm like, I'm already doing it. So how do you mean I can't? I'm already doing it. We had one company, America, that stood behind us. So we used them. And what's funny about all the companies that didn't want to work with us, it took them like 9 months to start begging to work with us. And we acted like we didn't care. Now we did care, but very much so. But we acted like we didn't. It was just like, we don't care. You don't care. Like, you should get that company. I'm like, we didn't even care. And then we go back to the office and Mike Sides is like, you know we care. I'm like, dude, you're on my team. I know we don't care. Because we can't do it until they allow us to pay the agents what we want. It's our company. It's our money. As long as we write good business, why do they care? We should be able to do whatever we want to do. So we really focused on having great comp, having really good renewals, having quality leads, because I wanted you to make money. So for instance, if you're at a 100% contract and you write a policy for $1,000 a year, you're going to get advanced, what, 75% of that, Paul, 80%? Yeah. 75. So you're going to get $750 for one transaction. If you do that 3 times a day, you make a couple $1,000s. You go, it's not that easy. You know how the insurance companies sponsor every darn football game you see, and every Olympic swimmer, and every golfer, and they have jets? They're loaded. They have no problem paying. It's a very profitable industry. There are hundreds of millions of people in America, and the majority of them say they don't have enough life insurance or don't have any. There are a couple million licensed insurance producers. We will do $250 million this year, really close to it, and we only have 7,000. So to give you an idea, there's a lot of opportunities, plenty of opportunity out there. Next thing we were really crazy focused on was training. Andrew, how much life insurance have you sold in your career? Paid business.
I'm going to say in my career,
Yeah.
3 or 4 million.
$3 or $4 million, quite a bit. We let Andrew train. We only let people train they're doing. Any of y'all play football? You ever play football for a dude who didn't play football? Thank God, me neither. Would you have? No. My son, they tried that on my son one day. Brought him down to the football field. He's all geared up. He's ready to go. I met the football coach, and you know when you walk, you see him walking, you know he didn't play football, right? Just like you know I didn't swim, and I didn't play soccer. I'm slow as anything. I didn't play soccer, dude. There's a lot of running. I'm the slowest guy in the room. I don't care how slow any of y'all think. Y'all beat me in a race, okay? And the guy didn't play football. So I started asking him stuff like, hey, man, like how long you been coaching? He goes, I watched a lot of it on TV. I go, well, you're going to watch us leave while my son don't play. Because this is a game where you can get hurt. Like, you've got to know what you're doing. We only allow the people that are actually doing this successfully to train. Because a lot of companies will do it to make people feel good. They'll go, Tom's been around for a while. Let's make Tom train. Like your company, there could be a guy get up in front of you and all day, right, and train you. And you're like, dude, when's the last time you sold anything? Exactly. And they're talking about stuff that worked 15 years ago. You're like, dude, you know it's 2019, right? Like we have the internet and stuff and social media. I don't want to freak you out, but like we have different stuff than y'all had in 1984, just a little bit different. We let the people that are out there doing the sales successfully train. Those are the only people, and that's a big deal. It's not about who's mom or dad or who you know or how long you've been around. If you start tomorrow and you sell more than my man here, you will train more than him. And if he goes, hey, I've been around for years, I go, it ain't a union, dude. This isn't the way this thing works. So our training is very good. We talk about it's very presumptive. Our phone script's very presumptive. We're on the phone for less than a minute. We're in the house for 30, 40, 50 minutes. We're not there for 6.5 hours. You know what you want. We know what we got. We help you get it. If you say no, we're out. We don't argue with you for an hour. We have people that have decided they want the coverage. If you're having a bad day, I ask you why you're having a bad day. If you don't tell me, then I try to guess. If you get angry at me, I leave. It's not that deep. What most of our people focus on is running 30 appointments a week, which isn't even 40 hours. If 10 of them didn't show up, which means you're not that great in the phone, and 20 of them did, and you closed 10, which means you're not that great in the house, you'd write $10,000 a week. You'd issue $7,000 of it. You'd issue 28 grand for the month. You'd put 20 G's in your bank account. If you spent 2 grand on leads, you'd net $18,000. That's going to put you up 160, 170, 180 grand a year. It's not that complicated. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. There's no smoke and mirrors. You have to go to work. The people aren't going to drive to your house to give you the check. You have to. Now, if I found a way to do it, dude, I'll do it. You find a way for them to drive to my house and give checks, we'll do it. But right now we have to go out. Now, why don't the companies a lot of the companies try to do what they call DTC. Anybody know what that means? Direct to consumer sales. So a lot of these insurance companies, Bud, would say, hey, you know what? We're going to contact the consumers ourselves. We're going to get a hold of middle Americans and just sell them the life insurance over the phone. Didn't work. We're going to sell it to them over the internet. Didn't work. You want to know why? Because a lot of the people we deal with, my mom wasn't even middle class income. My mom wasn't going to buy nothing over the phone. My mom was skeptical. But if my mom met you and liked you, she'd buy it from you. If she didn't like you, she'd say no. Our deals, and that what these companies have realized is that we are a necessity. We just added a few companies. We just added John Hancock. They're a phenomenal company, been around for a very long time. We have every company we want to have works with us now. We set the comp we want to set. They let us run our company. I will do everything I can to make sure you make money. If you don't go to work, you won't make money. If you go to work, you will. In our space, there's only a couple ways to do this. There's the whole multi-level marketing way, which is like, hey, the company keeps most of the money, you keep a little bit, and we pretend like we're friends. We do a meeting, we jump up and down, we scream, we have chants, I give you a level, I give you a pin, a new name, I trick you, don't worry about money, don't ever focus on your bank account, but we're friends, right, and then you think we're friends, and then 2 years later you realize you're broke. Or you could be a wholesaler, if you will, an aggregator, and just give out contracts and not help. That don't work either. We have the high comp with everything else you need, all the support systems you'll need. Do I think that everybody's good at it? I don't know who's good at it. Could I walk around the room and say yes, no? I don't know. If you don't like people, don't do it. If you don't like to smile, don't do it. If you're going to scare them and stare them down, don't do it. If you think you're better than people, don't do it. Our clients are very vulnerable, which means we protect them. They're not very educated in life insurance because that's why they fill a form out. Mortgage protection pays your mortgage off if you die. At the end of the term, you get all your money back. That's what excited me. A lot of middlemen, they love it because it's money that, I like what Andrew Taylor says. He said in a meeting like 3 or 4 years ago, I was like, that's brilliant. He says, the best thing about this product is if you die, it pays the house off. No, there's 3 great things about it. Second thing is if you live, you get all your money back. He said, and the third thing that's great about it is when you get it, I get paid. That's good. I like that. It's all true. You get paid, he gets paid, and the insurance company pays us, not you. People are like, well, you know, what do I got to pay? Nothing. You have to pay the insurance company. They pay me. Don't worry about me. They'll take care of me, but I need to take care of you. You know, the first death claim I ever had was I went and met with a lady, and I'd never, aside from family, never known anybody. Like, I'd never had a life insurance policy, and I watched it pay out. I went to meet with a lady. She had stage 3 pancreatic cancer. She filled out a form hoping, the forms say non-medical, because they are non-medical. I explained to her immediately, I can't cover you. All I can do is give you something that's going to make you wait 2 years to get paid. She says, I'm never going to live 2 years. I said, okay. Meanwhile, her husband comes walking in the door, and he's like, I don't know, 6'4", 260, cut off shirt, because he wanted everybody to know he had big arms, so he cut the sleeves right off. He's like, in case you're wondering, I want you to know I'm big. You know, he had his vest on, you know, his Harley guy, and he starts cussing me out. And I looked at his wife. I said, is he always like this? He seems pretty angry. She goes, he's very protective of me. I'm like, can you stop screaming at me, dude? Like, it's a lot. He was like, yeah, but you need to get out of my beeping, beeping, beep. I said, your wife invited me to. So he says, I told her you can't help her. I said, sir, I can't. But we need to talk about getting you life insurance. Well, then he lost it. Like, I cussed him out, right? I don't need any. So she tells him to sit down and listen to me. She said, you know, he seems like a decent guy. Just hear him out. They have a couple young kids. I talked to him. He says, I have a big policy at work. I said, I doubt you do. If you have a policy at work, if you ever lose your job or change your job, you won't be able to keep it. It's not yours. They own it. I write him a $250,000 policy. He's begrudgingly the whole time, but wife's like, you're doing it. You don't have a choice. I didn't do enough for our kids, yada, yada, yada. I cut him office. I turned the paperwork in. He says, I don't want to pay right away. I want to like wait a month. I'm like, no, you can't do that. He's like, why not? I'm like, because I don't allow you to do that, because it won't cover you until it's drafted. And since you need the life insurance, what if something were to happen in the next 30 days? I'm not going to live with that. So I need the banking information. Plus, you know you're going to get it anyway, and you get all your money back. You think you're going to outlive it, so you get all your money back. What are you worried about? You don't need to go up and yell at me again. I got it. Like, you're big, bad. It's like the WWF in here, bro. Yeah, it was before it was WWE. It was WWF. So, you know, like, I'm just, right? You know, you got, some of these guys know. So I got it. He's in now. Yeah, WWF and Family First Life. You're doing good. And and anyway, I leave. 3 days later in my office, Nicole's my admin. She comes to me crying. She goes, you read the paper? And I'm like, no, I just got in. And she's like, you had a client die. And I thought, man, all the clients I write, right? It's probably one of the 82-year-olds I wrote. I'm thinking, even thought about this guy, man, he's a little bit unhealthy. 32 years old. He's worked second shift. He's driving his motorcycle to work. According to the article, there was a witness. Deer runs out in front of him. He tries to get out of the way, lays the bike down, hits his head, dies instantly. And I got a phone call that day from her brother yelling at me. How dare you tell my sister she's getting a check for her husband? She is under the impression that she's getting $250,000. I said, number one, don't yell at me, because I don't know you, and that's not very good. Because in the Old Testament, there's a time for everything, so knock it off, okay? Number two, I don't know you, so I'm not giving you any information. But number three, aren't you calling me from the bank? He says, yeah, how do you know? I'm like, I have caller ID like every other American. I said, do you sell life insurance? Because most people I know at the bank do. Yeah, I said, you're yelling at me? And I said, I'm gonna let you go, and hung up. She got the check for $250,000. She died shortly after that, but the kids had $250,000, which they would not have had. Come to find out his policy at work was 10 grand. It was $10,000 funeral policy. Okay, covered 250, and that changed everything for me. I decided at that moment in time, Zach, I was going to focus on helping people. I love what we do. I love how hard we work. I love the people we work with. I love helping people. I don't care if that looks like it's corny. I want to help. And I want to get paid too. It's America. I want my kids to have a better opportunity. I love taking care of my mom. She every time complains. She used to go like, that's too much money. Now she's like, hey, could I get, like she's cool with it now. She's definitely gone from, oh my God, it's a lot, to what do we do? Hey, and I'm on a vacation. I start on vacation every year. And she's always like, hey, am I still, do you still do? I'm like, yeah, I just have, okay, I'm not, you don't have to. But like she's got her friends ready to go. They're prepped, they're ready to go. Like, and that, it's more every year. It goes from like 1 to 4 to, but you know what, man, I'd have it no other way because of what she did for me. I don't know if it works for you. I don't know how much money you're gonna make or not make. It's hard not to make money in life insurance if you really like helping people. We have a captive audience. We have plenty of leads. Facebook, social media leads changed everything. Direct mail, there's only so many direct mail leads. Facebook leads, we could hire, seriously, we could have 100,000 agents running business that wouldn't make it then. It wouldn't even be a big deal because there are 2 billion people putting something on Facebook a day, let alone how many people are actually on it in general. So it's a very phenomenal lead source for us. We're doing some other stuff with some other social media platforms. We'll treat you right. We'll make a mistake as a company. We'll fix it. We make a mistake, we'll tell you we made a mistake. But we'll always work hard. I'll leave you with this. Got it. I'll leave you with this. Every decision that we make has to fit this like 3-legged stool approach or it doesn't work. It has to be good for the agent. It does have to be good for the client. If it's good for you, not for the client, not a good deal. If we had a product that was really good, paid you a lot, but it was a bad product, that wouldn't work. And it has to be good for the company. We need to stay in business. We need to be sustainable. And I think that one of the things that we've gotten to nowadays is, somehow we're just not really like crazy direct with people. But you know what? People like it. When you're direct with folks you care, you're direct with your kids. You don't beat around the bush with your kids, right? My son used to run out in traffic when he was 4 because he's a psycho like me. He'd just run down the driveway. And I'd chase him, right? And he would like run in front, but you never know if the car's coming. So I said, one day I just grabbed him by the neck. I brought him up the driveway and I went inside with him, grabbed an egg, brought him back down. I said, hey, look, I want you to show you something. So I take the egg and I smash it on the ground. And I go, that's your mother brain when the car hits you and splits your head open. Got it? He's like, yeah, Dad, I got it. Good. Don't ever forget it. You want to know why? Because I love them. I don't go, hey, please don't do that again. Oh, I'm sorry. Just like y'all do with your kids, with people you care about. If the clients know you care, everything else can take care of itself. The product, the carriers we got. Yes, we have 14, 15 phenomenal carriers. That's great. But when they call the corporate office, which they do, and say, hey, I'm trying to get I don't know what, I go, what company do you have your policy with? They go, my policy's with Brittany. And I go, no, that's not, Brittany doesn't have a company. What company is it? That's all they know. They bought Brittany. They bought Dan. They go, my policy's with Dan. I'm like, Dan doesn't own an insurance company as far as I know. We should write the product if he does. But all they know is Dan. And I have to literally say, can you go to your bank statement and see who's taking money out every month to know what company it is? What I mean is they bought you, they trust you, they respect you, and you're going to be the one that's going to take care of if something happens. And they know that. And that's what I always tell my clients. Here's my cell phone number. If I don't call you back within 24 hours, call the office because I died. And you need a new agent because I'll never not return your phone call. So, Paul, Andrew, who else? Paul, that's it, right? VPs, you two? Yeah. Yes, come on up here real quick. So this is what I'm going to do. Give you an idea. You have the ability, if you choose to build a business. You don't have to. You can hire nobody. I don't care if you hire anybody. Get a license to sell a bunch of insurance. Get a license to hire a bunch of people. Doesn't matter to me. I could care less, okay? You do what you want to do. But what we've done is set up a deal where you can build it, make money with the agents you hire, and then also they can get their contract level. So when Paul, I'll give you an example. Paul worked hard and got himself to 140% contract, which he should have. Got up there, 350 grand a month, boom. And then Andrew, lo and behold, got to 140% contract because he did really well. Now at most companies, what they say is they go, Paul, good service, good work, bud. I mean, killed it. You don't make any more money, but hire some more Andrews. You're like, hire some more Andrews? They don't come by every hour. We say we put a bonus program together and still pay Paul on all the volume he has, not hurt Andrew, not hurt Paul, and bonus is non-charge backable. So the biggest bonuses in the company, we got a guy in Atlanta that gets, I think this month his is 77 grand for the month. and it's non-charge backable. So he's like, y'all can put everybody at 140. No matter to me, I'll take a couple $100,000 a month, make $2.4 million. Nobody can take it back from me. Like, life is good. I'm pretty fired up. So they've obviously well achieved past that 150 grand. When you hit 150,000 issue paid in a month, we start bonusing on that. So your bonus could be from $400 or $500 to $77,000, $80,000 a month. Our goal is to make our bonuses even higher, the ones we give out. We want to raise the volume, and these guys have been a huge, huge part of what we're doing. It's the fastest growing part of the company is the group here. The group in Atlanta is big, but this is the fastest growing part of the company. So what is, by far, it's a great, great group. You guys have a lot of really good, you all been to Connecticut before? Okay. The people look the opposite of you. You know how y'all are good looking? Go there. You'll like be in charge. You'll be like, look at you, you must not be from here. Yeah, it's a different, I'm telling you, I'm just a different bunch of folks. Plus y'all smile. You're nice. It's just enjoy yourself here. You don't scream at each other the whole time. You know in Vegas you can drive with no license plate. Isn't that the craziest thing in the world? Like, and I'm like, dude, how does that make any sense? He's like, don't know. I'm like, in Connecticut you can't drive 5 feet without your new license plate, with your new sticker on it, with your new tax bill on it. Here they just go like, take the car. I'm like, hey, Nicole's car is a dealer. He's like, yeah, she just has the thing on it. I'm like, how would they know if it was her if she like takes off and runs or something? He's like, I don't know. We don't think about that kind of stuff. I'm like, then you all should stay here. So, but they've been a great, great part of the company. I'm gonna turn it over to both of you guys. So, Thank you. I appreciate it.